Yeah, I mean, it's still, game five. We're down 3-1. I mean, it's still an elimination game, but there's definitely some positivity leading in from last night, and just go out there tonight and leave it all out there once again.
Third row on your right, Carlos. Peter.
Hi, Carlos. Just from a preparation standpoint, how do you prepare for a start that you don't know for sure is going to happen? Is there anything with the mindset?
Yeah, I think you just take it as, we're going to win tonight. And for me, mentally, I'm going to take it as we're winning tonight because I have to be prepared for game six. So I'm not going to be caught off guard for that.
Go one row up to Eric, if you don't mind passing to him.
Carlos, I'm sure you've played with some, young, hyped players,
Yeah.
In your career. What stood out to you about Volpe? You obviously were with him last spring training when he was fighting for the starting shortstop job.
Yeah.
What have you observed with him?
Well, I had the pleasure of facing Anthony Volpe, I think, my first live VP last year. I think he hit 2 homers off me back to back. I mean, which I know isn't saying too much because I do give up the long ball at times, and I'm not going to lie to myself here, but both of them were. I think one was on a fastball up, there was a slider, and I just remember, I was new face last year, and then talking to Booney, I was like, I think this kid needs to be on our team. Like I remember saying that. I don't know if Booney remembers. I'm not saying I'm the one that got him on the team, but I thought he was very capable of playing in the big leagues. And then as you know, last year he shows up and he swings the bat well. I'm not sure how many homers he hit some balls hard, and defensively he was a Gold Glove. I mean, that's pretty hard to do in Yankee Stadium, and let alone as a rookie. So I mean, big swing last night from him in a young career. So it's pretty soon to be expected from him, I guess, in those big moments. Hopefully not. That pressure doesn't weigh on him. But I mean, wow, what a moment for him with the grand slam and to put us up 5-2. I mean, so I'm hoping for many more moments for him in the future. But it's been a pleasure. I mean, defensively he's been so great. I know offensively this year it's not been super output, but I mean he's such a great baseball player. That he's so dynamic as far as where he can impact the game for us. I think his ability, his baseball knowledge, and his ability on defense, his ability with base running. I mean, he's had an impact on a lot of these games, whether it's stealing bags or defensively making some pretty incredible plays. So, just looking forward to keep watching him grow and become an even better player.
Up front on your right,
Yeah.
Carlos. Ron.
You've been on several teams. How does each team develop mental resilience in the face of adversity, and why do you think it develops with some teams and not others?
That's a good question. I think last night was definitely a moment for us. We've played fairly well this postseason, and we played two other very good, talented teams as well. But we won those series pretty quickly. But they were really good teams. I'm not going to take anything away from the Royals and the Guardians because they were. But it's just being down 3-0, and I think this is part of the journey, the adversity. No one said it was going to be easy, so I think this is obviously one stepping stone to having our back against the wall, and obviously we have another one tonight. So I mean, all games are must win at this point. And then someone asked me, I don't know what it was, a couple of days. Oh, when I was in LA after my start, they said, "Did you feel like tonight was a must win?" And I told them, I feel like any game in the postseason is a must win at this point. Trying to win them all. So, but to get to your question, yeah, I mean, building adversity. I think we've had some close games early on in the CS and the DS, but obviously nothing like this. And I think this is hopefully this adds to our story here.
Do 2 more. John in the second row on your left.
The narrative going into the game yesterday was that the Yankees, have to score first, and obviously you guys didn't, but you still won. After the game, Aaron was saying, well, we don't want to believe we have to score first because we might not. But
From your perspective as a pitcher, what is the difference between pitching with the
I mean, I
lead?
think it's the team with the most runs at the end that usually does well. If you ask me,
Does it
So
change
it
anything?
doesn't really matter who scores first.
It doesn't change anything about how you have to approach or attack anything? If you're in
No, I mean you're gonna feel like you're behind, but I mean, like I said, I mean it's pretty simple. Who has more runs at the end of the game, they win. Doesn't matter who scores first, second, third. And I think I think in these games a lot of anything can happen. It's a lot different than the regular season, especially in the World Series. Baseball can be a wonky game, so I don't think you necessarily have to score first.
And fifth row back, right center aisle, Tim.
When Anthony Rizzo was in here yesterday explaining why the Yankees still have a shot, he said Garrett Cole tonight, of course, and then, quote, a pissed-off version of you in Game 6. Do you think that's a fair description?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's the right description. I wouldn't say pissed off, but I'm trying to word this the right way.
Word it however you want.
I don't know. I'm trying to find the right words for you so you guys can have your quote that you want, but I don't know. I don't know. Mildly upset and under control.
Do you
That's
find
too
that
wordy.
do you find that you pitch well when you're in that sort of headspace?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a happy medium. There's a fine line, I can't be the buddy guy. I can't be, the guy that's super mad. I think there's a I have to kind of ride the fence. I can't go left or right. I think I have to be kind of like I don't know how to put it. I have to be somewhat robotish, but just, internally not happy with the other team.